past two videos haven't performed very well views wise. You know, I'm trying to like get to a steady point where I'm increasing, where I'm growing exponentially. And when I notice that something isn't yielding the results I wanted to, I think it's very, very quickly, because since August or June, around there, I kind of saw a dip. I'm kind of like striking a good balance between what I like doing and what typically tends to be successful. I make music by the way. 310 songs this year. 310 songs this year. 310 songs this year. Link in the description if you want to hear everything I make. 310 songs. Wow. Link in the description if you want to hear everything. So yeah, like I was saying, I don't want to spend like a week trying to see if it's gonna work or not. This new format I was using in my past two videos. I'd rather just keep moving, because the reason why I'm saying that is because I noticed this past week, I know the videos are doing well. I've got two videos that cracked 2,000 views because of certain things I was doing that I noticed tended to work. And then I tried to switch it up again, and then the views went down again. Every time I always try to switch it up, the views go down. So I think I just need to, for now, just stick to what works, honestly. I want to try and get to 4,000 subscribers before the year ends. I want to see if that's possible. Yesterday I was writing and I wrote 2,000 words in one day, which was cool. Which was cool because usually I write a couple hundred words, sometimes 1,000, but usually under 1,000, just because I overthink so much. It makes it very hard to write when you're overthinking. It makes it very hard. sentences. Should I use this word instead of that word? Like, would the character really do this, or would the character do that instead? You overthink instead of just letting it flow and making progress. So yesterday I was just writing, and I tried my best not to get hung up on things, and I made incredible progress. 2,000 words, which is more than what I usually write in a day. So I'm hoping to maximize that and can keep that consistent. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how far I get. I was watching this video yesterday. This guy was interviewing this girl. She's half Persian, half Japanese, and he was asking her about her experience growing up and stuff like that. Because these people are from Japan, and she lived in this half Persian, half Japanese girl lived in the US for a while. So you're just asking her to compare her experience in Japan to her experience in in the US. And she moved to California after high school and lived there for a while, and she was contrasting the two experiences. When she was growing up, she says kids used to make fun of her for her, her features and stuff. When she went to the US, she felt more accepted and all that sort of stuff. And the words she used was, I felt like, I existed and stuff. And my thing is, look, obviously I haven't lived, I don't know the experience of being mixed or anything like that, but obviously I'm black, and we get teased here and there for some things, and I've lived in South Africa as a foreigner. I'm originally from Zimbabwe. I moved to South Africa when I was 6-ish, 5 or 6. I used to get teased in high school for being foreign, and I was dark-skinned, considered dark-skinned. I think I am dark-skinned. Compared to South Africans, Zimbabweans are more dark-skinned, so you get teased for being dark-skinned as well. But people say all sorts of things. You're a foreigner, you're dark-skinned, you're this, you're that, whatever. People power on you, right? My thing is, I don't know if these things should bother us as much as they do. No matter where you go in the world, there's gonna be people that have this attitude of like, you're an outsider, you're not one of us. I don't think it's that deep. I think most people are cordial and nice, but they have pure intentions at least. Like, you don't need to worry about most people, at least in my experience. So even if people are making fun of you, it's not something to to cry about, you know. I see that with a lot of black people around the world when they move to some of these places. And there's this fragility where people can say anything about you, and it's like, it's this world-shattering experience. I don't, look, you have to be careful with this stuff because, you know, you never know what sort of experience someone's having. So you want to be sensitive, you know, you don't want to be dismissive of someone. And when someone is describing some form of hardship, you want to give them the benefit of the doubt and believe that, you know, they're going through something. But because I feel like I understand what it means to be a foreigner and what it means to be different, you know, to an extent look different. Obviously, I was with, in my case, I was with other black kids, but again, you're coming from a country where people are darker, and these kids are lighter than me. I don't know if I look that dark on the camera, but yeah, I used to get teased a lot for being dark-skinned, and even getting called names for being a foreigner. Like there's a name they have for foreigners, and it's derogatory. And they say Kwang. How do you spell Kwang? I don't know. I think it's spelled Kwang. I think. I got called that once. It wasn't something I got called a lot. Just one time during hockey practice, we're practicing hockey, and I upset some guy, and he said, "Shut up, Kwang," and everyone went silent because it was like, yo, because you know it's not a word you just throw around. Everyone knows it's not as bad as the N word, but it's not a good word. It's a word you're not supposed to use. It's not polite. It's very, very rude. And, you know, South Africa has had issues with the xenophobia. The Zulu people, I'm sure you've heard of the Zulu tribe. The Zulu people are known for being quite violent, and a lot of Zulu people were at the forefront of this anti-foreigner movement, and we've had outbursts of violence. So the difference between, you know, when you see countries like America with calls for closing the border, I actually agree with a lot of that stuff. And then, like, you know, close the border. You can't just be accepting immigrants willy-nilly. There needs to be a process. They need to come here legally. I get that. I understand that sentiment. But, you know, there's a legal way to go about doing that. And you don't attack the foreigners, right? And I don't see it. I'm sure there's some people who are cruel to foreigners in the US, but I don't see in the news stories of like Americans like killing foreigners. Not in large numbers. But here in South Africa, it's like I kid you not, they literally burned people alive. That was a thing in the news a while ago, a couple years ago. My brother had an experience where he was taking a taxi, and some guy came up to him, disheveled. He had bruises all over his face. His arm was broken. He knew his arm was broken because it was twisted at a weird angle. He was bleeding, and he was asking for money because he had been mugged. Because people could tell he was a foreigner. That's the thing about black people. People think black people are all the same. It's like you can tell which country a black person is from because of certain features. You know, sometimes they're very dark skinned. Sometimes they're just little. The eyes are different. The nose is different. Like you can tell when someone's a foreigner, right? And they also approach you and they speak to you in their language. And if you can't respond, they're like, okay, he must be a foreigner. And they could be wrong. But you know, they have various tests to see if you're a foreigner or not. These mobs. So this guy was attacked and beaten up, and they broke his arm and took his money. And he approached my brother on the street asking for money because he'd been mugged and beaten up. So these are the sort of experiences people had. These are the sort of experiences we've had as foreigners. You know, like in this country. Now, am I gonna say I'm scared for my life? I'm traumatized, I'm this, I'm that? No. Like, guys, mass killings of foreigners, burning people in the streets, pouring hot tar. You know the tar they used to pave roads? Pouring tar on people. These are things that were happening, and it sounds so medieval, right? But this is happening a couple of years ago in this country, South Africa. Like, you should just Google South Africa xenophobic attacks and you'll see horrific things. You know, so when I hear like some of these people in Japan, some of these black people, whatever, and your issue is that, you know, people are a bit mean to you, and yet, you know, you're still allowed to live your life, you're still allowed to do this and do that. I'm like, I kind of roll my eyes. I've heard that foreigners from surrounding Asian countries have a much harder time. For some reason, Japanese people might be a bit more welcoming to even black people, white people, whatever. But when it comes to like Vietnamese people, Taiwanese people, it's a different attitude. I don't know what that's about. That's what I've heard. I don't know if it's true. But yeah. I feel like if I was to go to a country like Japan, I'm sure someone would be mean to me, but I think my overall experience, I suspect, will be positive. The only way to know is to go and see. And also, it's like, there's a difference between going to a place like Tokyo, this very bustling city where everyone's working and no one has time for you, and going to like the countryside where people are more laid back and nice. And I've heard that numerous times. You know, you watch these videos, you watch these vlogs, you watch these interviews, these street interviews and stuff like that. There's a guy, Takashi, from Japan. He went to the countryside and talked to people. There's another guy, this YouTube channel, Black Experience Japan, I think is the name of the channel. He went to the countryside as well. And these people, what you see is very nice people. They're not racist, they're not mean, they're not standoffish. They're very nice and accommodating. I think where people get things twisted is when you don't speak the language. When you go to these countries and you don't speak the language, and then people are not as receptive to you. You think it's racism, you think it's xenophobia, but it's really, you've come to their country and you don't speak their language. They're not going to be as open. It's just natural, guys. Anywhere you go in the world, that's just going to be a fact. If I go to France, I heard French people are like that. If you don't speak French, they don't have time for you. So learn a little French. If you show that you're making effort, I'm sure people will embrace you. So like I said, my experience in this country has been interesting. Things people have said to me, things I've seen on the news, the general atmosphere on foreigners. That being said, I've had my friends that I had in this country that were South African were very nice to me. I never felt unsafe personally. I've had things said to me and people made mean jokes, but I knew that it wasn't. I always knew it was ignorance. I never thought like this person is a hateful person, like they're just inherently evil. I just knew that, they're dumb. They're being dumb. They'll grow up and realize that they're being dumb. There's something going on amongst certain, not all black people are like this, but obviously I'm not like this. But certain black people are very fragile and entitled, and they have this expectation that wherever they go, they're just going to be treated nicely, and it's like, it's not the world. If you're a foreigner, people are going to, some people are going to be like a bit weird towards you. It's just life. It's nothing to cry about. It's not that deep. You can still have a great time and a great experience. I think most people are nice. Most people want to be nice. That's my belief. I have faith in humanity, man. I have faith in modern. Yeah, okay. Let me stop. Let me stop there. I was gonna say I have faith in modern civilization. I don't. But I think, you go to these countryside places and whatnot, I think your experience will be very different than your experience in the city. Because sometimes, even in the city, you can mistake the bustling city life, the coldness of the city life, as xenophobia, as racism. It's like, these people are just busy. They have shit to do. They do not have time to stop and chat and be nice. And people have their friends in their circles, and that's all they have time when they go to work. And it's cold. But you go to the countryside, people have more time on their hands, and it's more open. There's fresh air, and people are less stressed, and it's more community centered. The city is very individualistic. Every man for himself. Every woman for himself. Whatever. And it's like, you might not get the experience you're looking for if you're looking for the most friendly experience ever. Like, you're not gonna get that in a busy city. I'm not a city guy, I'm not. I live in a city. It's not my cup of tea. I lived in a small town, 2021, in the Western Cape. Used to go on a lot of walks in this nature reserve. It was beautiful. That was my vibe. I think I was happy there. But I was living alone. I was apart from my family. So I was kind of like, if I had family here, that would make it more interesting. When you're by yourself, it does get a bit stale. But yeah, I think that's my vibe. I just need a community to be there with me, and I'll be good. So anyway, guys, don't be so fragile, man. You go to these places, just expect some resistance. Persevere, man. Like, put in the work and people will come to trust you eventually and open up to you, and you start to see people actually quite nice. I don't like going into these situations, the victim mentality, like just like crying and woe is me. Like, this one guy was talking about how people told him, like, go back to your country, we don't want you here. They told him to his face, and he was talking about how he cried to his wife. I'm like, it's important to say that we should give men wiggle room. Sometimes there are situations where I'll cry. So, for example, my one homie is telling me there was a day where he was feeling grateful for life and whatnot, and he was feeling emotional. He went into his daughter's room and started hugging her toys, and he was crying, just bawling, right? And he was feeling emotional and he cried. And I think that's acceptable. It was a moment in time. That's not what he's He's a very buff, tough guy. But I was learning about how when men get married, their testosterone levels decrease. And I think there's an increase in estrogen, if I'm not mistaken. And when they have kids, the testosterone levels decrease as well. And people have noticed when men get married and have kids, they get softer, they get more emotional. It's not permanent, eventually your testosterone levels do go up again, and there's plenty of things you can do to keep your testosterone up if you want to. But men get softer in marriage. They get softer when they have kids. But that doesn't mean you become a softie, like you're just a soft guy. Like, obviously that was a moment for him when he was crying and thinking about life and whatnot, and it was a moment. That's not what he's like, generally speaking. So I think in moments that require strength, that require you to be strong, you shouldn't be out your cry. So the example I gave the guy crying to his wife because someone said some mean words to him, like, you don't want to be like that, right? You want to be a bit tougher than that. I think as men we should encourage each other in a loving way, of course, that we should tell each other, like, be strong, bro. If a guy cries, we don't outcast him and we don't like shit on him or anything, but it's like, come on, bro. Like, we encourage each other, like, you're stronger than this, be stronger than this. We should hold each other to a high standard, like, let's be tough, let's be strong. Because that's what our families need. When you get married and you have children, like, your family need strong men. So no one's perfect. We all have our moments, but they're like, I think there should just be a general standard when it comes to certain things. So yeah, I'm like, bro, come on. Like, I'm not a fan of men crying willy-nilly. Obviously, men cry sometimes and it's justified, but I don't think that warrants tears. An experience like that, I don't approve. That someone saying go back to your country, we don't want you. I don't think that's something you need to cry about. Like, they can't do anything legally. They can't do anything to you. They expressed their opinion. They told you they don't like you. They don't want you here. It's like, ow. It's in the moment. It's shocking, but then you think about it and you're like, I've had people in my comment section calling me a rapist because I said, what did I say? I want to have frequent sex in my marriage, and I don't want to be with a woman that doesn't want to have sex with me. And I'll call the rapist. It's like, okay, like, it's not that deep. Imagine I started crying about stuff like that. Oh, no, man. It's like, come on. So I think people just need to, it's not even having thick skin. I don't think your skin is that thick if you can just withstand a few insults. It's not that, like, that life is much, much harder than that for a lot of people. Like, a lot harder than that. Some people go through real shit. If the real shit you're going through is a bunch of people saying mean things to you, come on, guys. If you've got a family, you've got people who love you, you've got a community that loves you, you can take on the whole world. Who cares what? Even if the rest of the countries, they get the fuck out. That would be crazy if the whole countries that get the fuck out. That would be crazy. But if a bunch of people, if the general sentiment is we don't like foreigners, who cares if your community loves you, if your family, the people in your area like you, the people who know you like you? Who cares what everyone else thinks? Like, just dust off your shoulder. It's okay. I think that perspective is way better than walking around feeling like a victim, feeling victimized everywhere you go. Constantly looking for approval, wanting people to, like, oh, please, like, accept me, you don't like me. Like, obviously you conduct yourself appropriately. You do your best to be a model citizen and lead by example and show people that, you're not a threat and they don't have to be afraid of you, and you can live together peacefully. You do what you can to get that idea into their heads. But, if they don't like you still, then it's like, whatever, man. I really don't think it's something to cry about. When that homie said he cried to his wife because someone said something mean, I was like, am I tripping? Like, is this okay now? I just don't think it was worth crying. As a man, women cry all the time. That's fine. I think you're a woman. It's cute. But when a dude starts doing it, it's like, nah. Come on, bro. You have to be a bit stronger than that. Is this too old fashioned for y'all? Is this too old school? I don't think it's that old school. I don't think it's asking for too much. Keep it together, man. Crying to your wife is crazy. For something like that, at least, your mom dies or something that, yeah, you can cry to your wife. Something crazy happens, you can cry to your wife. Someone says the mean words to you in the street, we don't want you here, go back to your country. That's something you just, like, yo, you won't believe what someone said to me today, and then your wife will be like, what? That's unacceptable. A woman who tends to blow things out of proportion. No, what? No, I can't believe it. It's like, babes, it's okay. It's not that deep. I actually told you because I thought it was funny. Like, you can actually laugh at stuff like that. It's not something I'll cry about. I wasn't there, so I don't know how it was said, or maybe there were additional details he left out of that story. Maybe the guy like threw a drink at him or something. But even then, like, you don't need to cry about that. It's not worth crying about, guys. It's not deep. In the grand scheme of things, it's not deep. If you actually think about it, it's not deep. Even if he spits at you, get out of our country. It's like, you get upset, you get very, very angry. You want to fuck him up, you don't cry. Don't cry. It's not worth crying about. But I doubt any of that actually happened. I doubt there was spitting or drink throwing or whatnot. But even if there was, like... Anyway. That's just me. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what you think about men crying to their wives and this thing of foreigners being very sensitive. I don't think these things are worth crying about. Anyway, let me pray and get out. Dear God, thank you for this individual watching this right now. Thank you for making them whole and unique and guiding them on a path towards peace, prosperity, and purpose. Wait, so what comes after that usually? Thank you for introducing great people in their life, Lord God, who love them and take care of them and make them feel seen and heard and loved, and that you're maintaining the ones that are already there, and that these people are bringing the best out of them. And thank you that you're blessing this person with the spirit of gratitude, so they can give thanks for all that they have, and through giving thanks, find contentment and peace and happiness with all the things they have, and they can attract even more blessings. So good health, long life, and happiness over this person and everyone they care about. In my name I pray, Lord. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.